get the show on the road, shall we? I think. Right. So, this is a good one today. Right, so Coach Helen for YouFit Studio. Now, I've talked about limiting beliefs a lot this week because they do generally hold people back, and then they're generally not based on a truth, just a belief, right? So, a limiting belief, we're going for it again. A limiting belief is a state of mind, conviction, or belief that you think to be true that limits you in some way. This limiting belief could be about you, your interactions with others or other people, or with the world and how it works. That one at the minute, how the world's working. Limiting beliefs have a number of negative effects. Yes, they do. So I did already read out today's negative belief, or limiting belief, shall we say. It is negative as well. However, I'm going to give, for those who missed it yesterday, I'm going to go for it again. So here is today's limiting belief, or one of 3 parts, okay? I joked yesterday, but today I'm being serious. I seriously can't handle being hungry, okay? I seriously can't handle being hungry. Now, this is a good one because I've talked about this a lot over the last few days. Actually, last week, actually. Hunger is a lot of things, right? Hunger is annoying, it's uncomfortable, it's hugely distracting, right? It's all of those things. It is not, with a capital N-O-T, it is not something to avoid at all costs. Now the challenge is that we're kind of conditioned almost to try and avoid hunger at all costs because we can, right? We have the ability to avoid hunger whenever we want because it's the food wherever we want in terms of environment, whether it's working at home, work in the office, or wherever we are in the world, there is food readily available unless you're in the middle of the field in the middle of nowhere, really genuinely. And even then, it's not that far to get food, right? That's the challenge. We do not want to be hungry as people, as a society. We can condition to avoid it by any cost, right? At the time, if you're really, really, really hungry, it can feel like a big thing. Right, I had one of the clients say it felt like an emergency, like actually seriously feels like an emergency, like not that you might die, it's just this, they felt it was unhealthy, they might faint, that hunger was so great, they might drop down at any point. It was like a real emergency that they eat as soon as possible because they wanted to avoid the uncomfortable, distracting, annoying feeling of being hungry, right? Well, the conception of what hunger and real hunger were was obviously probably a little bit skewed, right? We are conditioned to eat as soon as we feel hungry, like as soon as, because we can. What happens is we think there's discomfort, either physical or mental, right? And end up overeating, right? Eating everything in sight, right? Everything you can find, right? So one of the things I'm doing with a lot of clients at the minute, not a lot of clients, that sounds like loads. What I've done with a handful of clients over the last week is actually play some experiments. We talked about experiments on the week as well. The experiment of hunger, or the Hunger Games. And it is based around fasting, more or less, right? I've talked about fasting before, but actually making a game out of it to actually understand. If you seriously can't handle hunger, prove it. Right? How long can you go before you literally use your chisel, right? Before you literally would start eating anything off the floor. Because you won't, by the way. Nothing bad ever happens, or it's ever happened to any client I've worked with that fasts, okay? Now, if you want to go hardcore, a 24-hour fast will really give you a point, right? If you actually commit to 24-hour fast and say, right, I only have black coffee and water for 24 hours, egads, right, you will discover if it seriously can't handle hunger. Again, nothing bad happens, nobody faints, nobody dies, nobody has a sense of emergency or panic. What they rediscover is actually genuine hunger. Now here's where the pictures come in, and I feel like I've got the perspective for Facebook and Instagram in the same sense, right? So this is an infogram, which was lovingly drawn by me and done in reverse. God, I'm good, right? Of how, I couldn't get in. For both, here we go. This is how people perceive hunger, right? So if we've got hunger, and time, we proceed, do you like that? Delegating. Because I can't share screen on this, right? And can we just repeat? I drew this backwards. I committed to this, people. So we believe somewhere in our heads that hunger is like this, right? So it's a straight line. So it's always going to be increasing. So as soon as we feel it, it's not going to go away or change. It's just going to increase and increase and increase. And if it's uncomfortable down here, our thought process is, Jesus, up here, if I leave this go too long, I am going to be absolutely hulking around the world, right? This is how we perceive hunger to be. Like a straight line into the distance, into forever, until we want to literally eat a scabby horse. Now, for those who play the Hunger Games, who actually get into fasting like properly and understand it, or knows that they can handle hunger, it is more like, da-da, this. Go with that drawing, I'm good, right? Same premise, hunger, over time, right? It's so weird. These are a lot. Somebody just tunes in now, like, what the f is going on? Right? Hunger is like a wave, okay? We perceive it's a straight line, it's actually a wave. And yes, the wave does increase eventually when it gets to the top. The thing is that we like to eat here. The first sign of hunger is peaking, right? The thing is, there is a drop-off. You're going to hear. Anybody who actually, if you talk to anybody who does do fasting, they'll understand exactly what I mean when they do this, right? So it comes down and comes back up. So hunger is not a continuously building thing, right? It's not a continuously building process. You get to the point you just can't handle your stuff whatsoever. It is a process of waves, right? The thing is, we often don't let it kind of peak and drop down. We like to take ourselves out of the Hunger Games straight away by eating as soon as it starts to peak. Now, with those people I'm experimenting with, or asking them to experiment, it's like, okay, well, actually, see how long you can last. How many waves can you outdo, right? Because one of the things that people who get this and can deal with their hunger can actually deal with it. Firstly, generally, they're probably people who have got a little bit further in their I'm going to be honest, in terms of that, because they won't keep eating excessive calories as soon as they feel hungry, right? Because it's kind of negating the wave, right? If the wave came down and you adjusted and you felt absolutely fine, you continue, right? You wouldn't need to eat or want to eat. Aside the point of if you're confusing it with thirst, right? That's a separate point. The thing is, those people, right, are more empowered. This is the thing about this. If you actually get a grasp on your hunger, like drop your limiting belief that it's impossible to be, that I seriously can't handle hunger. Well, actually you can. You haven't tried it yet. You haven't tested it. You haven't done the experiment, right? The empowerment that comes with being hungry and choosing consciously not to eat, and choosing consciously, so, well, I've got control over my body, I've got control over my food intake, I've got control over my hunger. I don't have to eat as soon as it starts to peak. Actually, I know what's happening, I can ride the wave. I'm empowered to decide. I'm not being controlled by my hunger, by my hanger, right? Learning real hunger also helps you learn how to really wait until you are really, really hungry. And that's what some of my clients have been doing the last couple of days, is actually just pushing it to the point where like real hunger. 10 out of 10 hunger, eat out of the garbage can type hunger. Because then at that point, you know that anything below that you actually can handle, because you've handled it. Now the thing is it also helps you out later, right? If there's another point, like imagine you are in the middle of a field, or imagine you are, I don't know, imagine you've got a health goal, like you are, here's a good one. All the weddings you've been putting off for last year, they're all in this year, you've got a week to go, and somebody takes you to a drive-through and you've been on the road for 4 hours. I don't know, this is just a future reference, right? Now, if you're hungry, right, you could choose to eat the drive-through meal for whichever outlet it is, right? However, the empowerment aspect of it is, if you know you can handle hunger, you can still choose to say no until you're in a situation where you want to eat something that's more like towards your health choices or towards your goals. So not only does knowing that you can handle hunger and a large amount of hunger give you that empowerment sense, it also gives you the tools and skills at a later date to be able to make choices. Hey, Kate. Oh, you've missed so many fun things. Like this drawing, Kate, was just amazing. Just look at it. It says it all. You have to watch this back, Kate. It gives you empowerment to know, right? I seriously can't handle hunger. Well, actually, put it to the test. Because if you can choose to eat when you want to, not when your hunger dictates, if you know how to ride the wave out and until the next one, guess what? You are in a calorie deficit. Now, I'm not saying, right, because some people are like, but you're asking me to starve myself. No, I'm asking you to actually find out where real hunger is. The challenge is, as I say, because environmentally and socially, we're kind of evolved to not have to deal with hunger because we don't have to, right? So we jump ship, right? We jump ship as soon as we can. So we keep keep adding calories in that aren't necessarily required because you haven't learned to manage your hunger. Now, if you talk to anybody who's been doing successful ways of dealing with their weight management over the years, right, they will know about this. They know about hunger and discomfort and etc, etc. And most people, including myself, my experience with this, is that you learn to handle it better, in fact, to the point where you don't notice it, where you're still eating, don't get me wrong, you're still eating food. You're eating when you actually do physically require it, not when your brain says, well, I can just have something now. I can quickly snack on something until dinner or till lunch, until whenever it is, right? You're actually a little bit of discomfort. Learning the discomfort is okay. Embracing this discomfort to some degree, if you have a goal to lose weight, is absolutely key. Because the other choice is that every time you feel a little bit hungry, you are going to keep snacking, keep eating, keep overeating, right? Keep over-consuming calories. And what I've talked about this week, the energy balance, right? So if one of your limiting beliefs is, I seriously cannot handle being hungry, I quite like saying in that kind of way, then I challenge you, right, to find out if that's really true. Is it a fact, right? So the definition, the belief that you think to be true, is it though that you can't handle hunger? Because I've not yet met a person that can't. I swear to God, I haven't. I really haven't met someone yet who can't handle hunger. They don't want to have to handle it. As I said, it's annoying, uncomfortable, distracting, all the fun stuff, right? But I've not yet found a person who isn't able to handle it if they put themselves in that uncomfortable position. Oh, it's been light back on. Right, I've got flies in it. What the hell? I seriously can't handle flies in the room. My limiting belief. So, all right, nice end of those three things, right? This little one on the end was all about hunger. There you go. So there's your three limiting beliefs this week, right? So let's go through them. So we had, if I had more willpower, I could stop eating so much junk food. I hardly eat anything, and I still can't lose weight. I seriously can't handle being hungry. Right, these are all things that at some point we've probably said to ourselves or to others in a joking way or serious way. God, no, I can't handle it either. Right, what I've done over this three-part series is actually just break each one of them down and show how actually nothing is necessarily true or fact unless you actually experiment and prove that almost to yourself and to your coach if you have one that is the case. Right, but in all of these cases this week, there's been absolutely an explanation as to why that isn't true, because that's exactly what I see when I work with clients. In it though, so. Now, Thursday already. That means I'm back next Monday. Next Monday, I'm going to talk about growth mindset. I'm not doing 3 parts next week, so I'm doing isolated bits. But I've got growth mindset. I've got a swear word in next Wednesdays. Getting stuff done. We'll call it stuff. Give them the same letter. And then, because this is, I swear to God, one of the biggest problems, I think, challenges, we'll call it challenges, not a P word, challenges, 17 ways to get more vegetables into your diet. 17. I mean, it is going to be quick. It's basically me sitting there telling you how to eat veg. Sounds daft. And yet, a lot of people struggle to get veg into their diet. So those are the 3 things we're covering next week. As always, have a fantastic evening and great rest of your week, guys. And I'll catch you later.